These are 5 things that you need to know.
Welcome to UTM TV. We're going to talk about 5 things that you need to know if you're going to Disney or Universal in the next couple months. These are some things that you should be on the lookout for.
If you're planning a vacation soon, or if you just like to stay on top of what's happening in the parks, these are the things that we want to share with you.
Yeah, you don't even have to be going on vacation soon. It's just, sometimes people just like to hear things that make them happy and put a smile on their face. So we'd like to share the good news with you, and because that's what we do the show for.
And starting things off is a new restaurant. Well, not new, but refurbished restaurant is finally opened in Disney World. This is Narcoossee. It's a little bit of a pricey restaurant, but it's been highly anticipated as it's in the Grand Floridian. And I think that for a while there, without it open, something felt a little missing at the Grand Floridian.
A little bit of a pricey restaurant. This is really a pricey restaurant. But, sometimes when you go to these Disney, like we went to Space 220 and that was pretty pricey, but we got what we paid for, I feel like.
That's true.
If you look at the menu here, there's a couple things on there. Shrimp and grits. I like that. Sweet potato gnocchi, lobster bisque, yuzu, ginger salmon. That's fun to say. There's some other things on it. The usual New York strip. I feel like they have that at every higher end restaurant, and it's the same.
Yeah. So the theme here is a coastal cuisine. They have a land and sea offering. It's a little hideaway kind of waterfront area. Again, at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort, where it's actually being under refurbishment, the resort itself right now. So there's still a little bit of that happening. Not necessarily sure. It'll be interesting to see what people's reviews are with the price tag of this restaurant, plus there being still some construction happening nearby.
Listen, being from the restaurant business, I never suggest people go to a restaurant their first. Well, you can go to the restaurant the first couple weeks it's open, but have really low expectations.
Well, this restaurant has been around. It's not like
yeah,
it's
but
a
even
brand
so,
new.
like they're
Sure.
bringing people back. They have a new menu. They got to get organized. They got to work the flow out. They got to work the kitchen layout out. Like
That's true.
there's obviously things that they've changed. And when you go into a restaurant in the first couple weeks, they're working out the kinks. There's nothing, you can do all the training you want, but there's nothing like real live customers, real live action when you're running a restaurant, and there's no simulating that.
That's exactly true.
So be patient, have low expectations, but I'm sure it'll be a good time for
I want
people.
to check out, it says the ocean-inspired charcuterie board, which fresh take on classic featuring ahi tuna pastrami, charred octopus, and house-made sausage from the sea.
Octopus is one of those.
What is that?
Fresh made sausage from the sea.
sea.
Well, it's probably like a fish
Okay.
sausage.
Not crocodile?
I don't know. I hope not.
Yeah, go ahead.
Octopus is one of those things that when it's done well, it's really good. When it's not done well, it's really bad.
That's true, yeah. Well, hopefully, from the looks of it and the images that they're sharing, this is a higher end type of restaurant. That's the theme that they're going for. That's the whole vibe of the Grand Floridian. It's a little more upscale.
Yeah, a little bit more upscale. It's very upscale.
That's
At least it looks upscale. It doesn't. They don't make you feel like that. Like they don't make you feel like you have to be upscale if you're not.
Right.
But you do get the upscale vibe. This is why I always say I don't feel comfortable there and I don't feel like I fit in. I feel like I'm very much out of place.
Well, when you're running down the hallways, it's probably not a place.
Yeah, they frown upon you sliding down the railing on the stairway.
Definitely don't do that.
But I still do it because it's fun.
If you go onto the Disney website, there is a dress code, they say. This restaurant is a Disney signature dining experience offering fine dining with a distinctly magical flair. Guests are expected to dress accordingly, and that's in bold letters.
Really?
Yeah, it's a little bold of Disney, right?
What does dress accordingly mean, though?
It says in attire that respects the restaurant's sophisticated and upscale aesthetic. Clothing should be clean, neat, and in good condition. Please no swimwear. So it's not really saying you need a sport coat or tie, but it's saying, you know what, this is the theme. This is what we're charging. We want a fine dining experience. We want you to kind of represent that. And,
So basically what they're saying is this is the Grand Floridian, act accordingly.
Shape up or ship out.
We don't make you feel bad in the lobby, but in this restaurant, we're going to make you feel bad.
That's right. Well, this is going to be a fun restaurant. It's, again, a reimagined interior space, an enhanced menu that they're calling. So it's exciting to see anything come back in Walt Disney World.
Yeah, definitely. I'm excited, too, for the lack of construction going on in that area.
That is true.
Because when you do go to visit, maybe even if you can't stay there, the monorail loop is a great place to go visit. But when there's construction going on, it's hard.
Yeah, and it looks like, hopefully it'll be wrapping up, and hopefully before you know it, it'll be completed, and the whole entire resort, along with the Polynesian. The Polynesian is also going under some construction now with the new DVC building that's coming up. The walkway, you can walk, and there's no sign suggesting not to, but you really shouldn't.
Yeah,
it's not the same. And it's definitely that whole area on the Seven Seas Lagoon right now. It's just a little bit, it's a little something missing. Whereas when it's completed, it's going to be that full kind of enhanced and immersive experience that I think many have grown to love.
All right, what's next on the agenda here?
The next thing on the agenda was just a funny tweet from Orlando International Airport. They stated on April 1st, we're floored to have OrlandoCon right at our airport. From cosplayers to vendors to free MCO socks. We are here to celebrate the city beautiful. On a scale of 1 to 10, we give this one a 407. Don't miss the party. Get your tickets here, and they have the video of all the socks that are on display, cosplayers, and all this fun stuff. Except when you click on the link, it says April Fools.
Oh, so that's an April Fool's joke they played on everybody.
That is right. Happy April Fools. It's fun to see the airport kind of laughing and having a good time as well. So I always giggle whenever I see anybody.
I always do an April Fool's joke on our Instagram. I always put today we're recording the last podcast episode. Thank you so much. It's been fun.
Yeah.
And it always fools a whole bunch of people. You always forget that it's April Fool's joke until you see something like that.
I'm really bummed that I forgot it was April Fool's today because I had some really fun things that I thought would be fun. I mean, if you can't play a joke on your teenagers, what's the point of having kids?
Speaking of April Fool's jokes, you're right about that.
Right.
The next thing isn't necessarily an April Fool's joke, but it's hilarious. Universal's trolling Disney with the reservation system using one of those 80s movies that you love, Back to the Future.
The best movie ever.
And they tweeted out, it says, reservations where we're going. You don't need no reservations.
Whoever is in charge of Universal Orlando Resort social media is brilliant. They are on top of their game. They're making fun of themselves and laughing at life, and just, it's all in good play. It's nothing like a jab or really.
It's a subtle jab, but it's a subtle jab in a fun way that we are all thinking that anyway.
This article says there's no account quite as good as the zingers as the one for Universal Orlando Resort. They like to take shots at Disney now and then, and their most recent swipe has clearly hit a nerve. Universal Orlando combined a classic Back to the Future reference with a shot at the Disney parks reservation system, reminding guests that while you need to take extra steps to visit Disneyland or Walt Disney World, even after you've bought a ticket, that's not the case for Universal parks.
I think Disney shouldn't, they always say, I think Universal takes jabs at Disney because they're jabbing up at Disney, right? Disney's obviously the top dog in the area.
Right.
Universal is trying to get market share, which they're building a new park. They're doing a lot of fun things over there.
Yeah.
And I don't think Disney should, necessarily take jabs at Universal because then that would recognize them.
Sure.
But they should get a little bit more fun with their
We've
content.
always said that.
They're too stuffy and buttoned up.
Yeah, and I think that there is room there to be a little silly and act a little bit, maybe not quite like Universal, but
I'm not saying you got to be as silly as Universal.
Yeah.
But at least be a little bit more relaxed with your content. I feel like their content is a little bit too stuffy sometimes.
I want to hear Doc Brown say, reservations where we're going, we don't need reservations.
Well, with AI now and these virtual things that people are doing with, other people talking and saying that, they could probably do that.
They could.
And they own the rights to Back to the Future, so they should have did that. They should have had Doc Brown in an AI tweet saying that to Marty, and Marty's got his Universal shirt on, or he's got his ET hat on. He's going on the ride or something. That would be funny.
That'd be hilarious. And I love that movie, and I really hope that kids continue to be exposed to that film because it's a funny, lighthearted film, and it's just fun to watch.
Back to the Future?
Yeah. And
Back to the Future is one of the best movies ever made.
I just hope that young kids know or understand this reference. Not that young kids are on social media, but 18-year-olds on social media to know who and what this movie is referenced to.
Back to the Future is one of those movies that you can watch with your kids no matter what.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that you can watch with your kids, and no matter how many times you've seen it, you'll laugh. It's getting to the point now, though, where they may not get the 80s references.
That's what I'm worried about. That's why I'm like, okay, we need to do a better job of reintroducing these films to that generation.
Or go back to like we talked about on the podcast where we said, let's do a park of all the old things that happened. Disney should do a park about all the attractions that are gone.
Yeah.
And then that'll get kids to kind of remember the 80s, like the original Figment.
Yeah, that would be amazing.
That would be fun.
And they could understand the reference.
Yeah, right?
Next item is talking about a new Vacation Club member lounge. It actually looks really neat. This is in Disneyland Resort. It's to open on April 19th. And it says here in the article, I am over the moon, pun intended, to announce that Disney Vacation Club members can enjoy the first ever member lounge at Disneyland Resort in California beginning April 19th. This is supposed to be, and the reason why they say pun intended for the moon is because it's going to be a nod to space travel and just Walt Disney's optimistic vision for the future, which I
like
love.
this.
Yeah.
This actually looks really cool. And the one thing that Disney does do a lot, well, there's a lot of things Disney does better than Universal, but the lounges for members are very good too. Like there's the DVC lounge at Epcot is really nice. The location alone for that is pretty awesome.
Well, yeah. I mean, that one I'm on the fence about because it's in where Figment is.
I know. You don't like it because of what it took over.
Right. But I get it. It's cool. I mean, it's...
But comparing that to the Universal Studios Orlando,
Sure.
pass holder lounge, that's just it's like a closet with 2 chairs in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all you really need is a cold drink and some place to get cool down from the hot... From the...
You need you need a place to sit that's comfortable, get a cold drink and some air conditioning, and maybe charge your phone or a laptop or something.
So this is inspired by Walt Disney's optimistic vision for the future. The brand new space named Disney Vacation Club Star View Station, a member lounge, is coming to the heart of Tomorrowland at Disneyland Park. So that's cool because Tomorrowland is lacking a lot of things, in my opinion, in Disneyland. I think that it could be so much more. Unfortunately, things like the People Mover did leave Disneyland. People were sad about that. And
Is there anything sadder than seeing the People Mover track still there?
No, I don't think so. It's like a little graveyard of,
Yeah.
It's like the years past,
So
right?
sad seeing
when
that.
Tomorrowland might have been really cool. Because Tomorrowland and Walt Disney World is actually my absolute favorite land of all lands in any Disney park. But in Tomorrowland and Disneyland, I could definitely skip it. But this lounge is supposed to be out of this world. It's going to have amenities to refresh and recharge, dedicated Vacation Club member service team, comfortable seating. There's going to be Wi-Fi, soft drinks, everything you've known to love about the DVC lounge areas. But I just really like the space themed itself. It seems like a place I would want to hang maybe a little too long.
Yeah, right? Well, yeah. We'd all be bugging you to let's go do something.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, no, it's pretty space themed in here. Let's hang out a little bit longer.
Yeah, maybe we should just decorate my house like that.
You should.
Probably should. But it's nice to see. It's the first ever. So that's cool. Finally, we're pass holders, so we'll be able to take advantage of
This
this.
is for DVC members, not pass holders.
Oh, that's right.
So we still can't
bummed.
get into this.
Forget it. Why are we even talking about
I
this?
don't know.
Moving on.
Deleting that out of the show.
Okay, thank you. Speaking of Disneyland, they shared, so now Mickey's Toontown is finally opened, and people have been sharing a lot of the attractions that are there now, but also the food that is available at Toontown. One of the things that I want to share, if you're a pizza lover, I'm not sure if this is something you want to do. It's called the Cheesy Pizza Flopover.
What?
And it features mozzarella and provolone with tomato sauce, while the pepperoni pizza Flopover has pepperoni and mozzarella. There's allergy-friendly offerings too, but it looks like a pizza sandwich, kind of like a calzone.
Somebody sent me this on, I don't know if it was Twitter or Instagram. By
Yeah.
the way, we're Unlocking the Magic podcast on Instagram if you want to follow us there. Somebody sent me this and they said, is this pizza? And I said, no.
Flat out.
This is not pizza. Doesn't mean it's not good.
Right.
It's just not pizza. And
True.
flatbread is not pizza either.
Okay.
So don't ever send me those asking if they're pizza, because they're not.
According to you, or is this like rules that are kind of across the board with your pizza friends?
Well, I don't have too many rules. Like my
Okay.
pizza friends, there's certain rules that require for a good pizza, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't care what toppings you put on your pizza.
Okay.
But if you have a pizza that you blatantly push together, that means it wasn't a great pizza. So it's like something else.
Yeah.
And flatbread, the dough that you use for flatbread is totally different than the dough you would make with pizza. So it's not the same thing.
This looks a little heavy and greasy. I'm not going to lie. I love Disneyland foods. It's one of my favorite things to do in Disneyland is just eat and eat and eat. But this one looks like a stomachache waiting to happen. It's not quite a calzone, not quite a pizza. Gonna stick to my gun here. It looks like a pizza sandwich, a little greasy. I'm not exactly sure.
You know what this it reminds me of? Not necessarily like the same thing, but
Yeah.
the cheeseburger spring roll or the pepperoni spring roll that they have in Magic Kingdom that people love. One of those things that's good, but you couldn't have multiples of them.
Or it's good depending on the time of day you get it.
Yeah,
where
or
the
how
oils-
hot it is out.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that too. Well, there's other things too that you can enjoy. You can enjoy Toontown tater chips. That's fun to say.
That is
House-made
fun to
chips
say.
with chili cheese sauce. And Daisy Goody donuts with cinnamon sugar.
Now, that's really fun to say.
Not to be missed. My favorite are actually the specialty sips that they have now. The Picnic Time Watermelon Lemonade, which claims to be a refreshing choice with Minute Maid Zero Sugar Lemonade, watermelon premium syrup, and watermelon gummies. I love a good, I would consider this like a mocktail. It's my favorite thing.
You know what else they did at Toontown that you would like is they set up an area for kind of like a picnic area where you can sit on the fake grass, but there's a place there to kind of sit and hang out. So you can
Love
get
it.
your pizza sandwich. You can get your, what is it? This is
Your-
yummy.
Tater tot
Chips, whatever it is.
Toontown tater chips.
Yeah, there you go. We get that. Go sit on like the fake grass area and just kind of chill out and relax. What is there a better place to have a picnic than in Toontown?
No, I would say Toontown and then right in front of Cinderella Castle.
I mean, that might be
in-
better.
In Walt Disney World, both are epic. And I actually used to scream. Maybe somebody heard me, but I used to say all the time, I wish there was a place where you could just sit on the grass and just take in the views.
Yeah.
And finally, they're doing that, and I'm excited.
That's great. There's always. I'm glad too. Like they set up these benches so that way strollers go on one side, but it kind of blocks the stroller encroachment onto these areas where people can hang out. And I'm glad they did that and they thought of that because, especially if you want to let your kids kind of go and do a ride or an attraction or see something that you don't want to go on, you just get to chill out there in the grass in the sun.
I love it.
So I'm glad they did that. It's going to be fun to see.
Well, that's going to do it for today.
All right. Hope you like this show. Thank you so much for subscribing. Do me a favor. The show is free. There's only one cost. It's a gentleman's and ladies' agreement to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and leave a comment on this video below and let us know where you're watching this from. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to our podcast as well. The links to that are below, and everything we mentioned are linked below this video. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Well, I'm going to go cry now that I realize the Vacation Club this new lounge is only for Vacation Club owners.
Do we know anybody?
We know
If you're a DVC member in Disneyland, let us know. We'll meet you there. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.
Bye, everybody.